was flipping, I was trapping out the race. Rich went saucing in the A. Money all up in my face. Murder still level my mind, gotta grind every day.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Holloway 2 times, back at it again with another video for y'all today. So, this is a little different from what I usually react to. This time we gonna be reacting to a medical situation that happened. So as you can see by the title, we're gonna be reacting to a chubby emo video. I'm gonna put the link in the description if y'all wanna watch it yourselves without me reacting to it. But we're gonna be reacting to a wife wipe back to front instead of front to back. This is how her husband's organs shut out. And if you know me personally, you know I love chubby emo videos. So I love watching weird stuff like this. But without further ado, we're gonna get in and we gonna see why hygiene is so important. You feel me?
A woman wiped back to front instead of front to back. This is how her husband's nerves shut down. EN is a 44-year-old man.
Listen, I ain't even gonna lie. I already watched this. So I already know what's gonna happen, but I just have to react to it for y'all, bro, because I want y'all to see this junk too. And mind you, when I was watching this junk, I was actually eating my damn food. So my other video when I was watching this, I had made a video of me going to the gym and I was eating pot pies. While I was eating my pot pies, I was actually watching this video and it was so hard to eat my food. This junk is disgusting.
And presenting to the emergency room with diarrhea and severe muscle weakness. He tells the admitting nurse that he hasn't slept well for more than a month, and he's been so thirsty, but he can't even grab onto a glass of water. Ian's wife, Cupcake, was recently on vacation on an equatorial island. Her trip seemed to just have problems nonstop, starting from the time when she arrived at the airport. And when she was at the hotel after lunch one afternoon, she started having diarrhea like no other, and it just wouldn't go away.
See, and that's why you gotta be careful where you eating at, bro. You gotta be careful where you eating, and especially what you're eating, bro. Be very cautious.
It ruined her trip because after that day, she had trouble eating and drinking anything. When she got home, her diarrhea didn't go away. Every day, she would feel crampy abdominal pain squeeze into her stomach, followed by a terrible movement out. She really thought that maybe her stomach just didn't agree well with the food that she ate on her trip, but at home with her husband, they would prepare some food together. Since she came home from this trip, she would often release air into
That's real cute. That's real cute, I ain't gonna lie.
The room that was so foul to Ian that he just couldn't handle it. For some meals, she would feel okay afterwards, but other times there would be massive problems. One evening, Cupcake went to the bathroom. Typically, she'd wipe.
Really the fact too that they named her a Cupcake, but it was far from what her husband was eating. Her husband was not eating no damn cupcake, bro. That nigga was eating glop, just straight. It was nasty, bro. It's nasty.
Back, but because she had gone so many times that day, she wiped back to front instead. The area was so sore, but when she looked back at the toilet paper, she thought she saw something horrible.
Which low-key, I mean, I'm a man, so I'm not gonna understand, but I have no idea why a woman would decide to write front to back or back to front. I don't get why they would do that.
Wasn't sure what it was. It was like there might have been some small, darkly colored dots inside. It kind of looked like big bits of pepper, except she hadn't eaten any pepper recently. Later that night, Cupcake was with her husband. She hadn't showered, but neither of them had thought that anything was different from how they would normally do it.
You know what? This is what makes it so nasty, and I was struggling so hard to eat my damn food. Cause it's like, if she wiped back to front, dude, you didn't smell anything, and two, you didn't taste anything. Like, yo, he really a munch, bro. You think, like, he's a true definition of a munch, bro. If he's eating that, and he can smell it and taste it, and he still decided to eat Cupcake, bro. That is fucking insane. That is literally insane, bro.
When they were done, they both went to sleep, and something terrible was going to happen. In the early morning, Ian woke up. He had to use the bathroom.
Like, low-key, I feel bad for dude, but at the same time, he should have had, like, some self-constraint. I mean, like, of course he didn't know, but also, his wife is the reason why this junk happened, because why the hell she ain't take no shower? It's the fact that if she took a shower, this could have been prevented.
and it was here where he had the worst movement of his life. He couldn't understand what was happening because he could feel his stomach quake and shake inside his abdomen. As the days passed, Ian would just have nonstop diarrhea, just like Cupcake did when she came home from the trip. He couldn't keep anything down, but then things started to get worse.
Like, I'm telling you, bro, it's so funny that Chubby Emu, that's not his real name, but I forgot his real name, but just the dude decided to nickname them Cupcake, and she's nothing of a cupcake. Like, you know, like pit bulls, like bulldogs and stuff, like if you name them Cupcake, but yet they chase after like kids and shit, like mad aggressive and just mad evil. Like, that's literally what it is right now in this situation, which makes it so bizarre.
A couple weeks after having dealt with this, Ian hadn't eaten well for a very long time. He had trouble sleeping, he couldn't think straight, he just didn't feel like himself, and things started to get worse. One day, while driving to work, and after having his now normal morning diarrhea, Ian had to stop on the side of the road. He had trouble grabbing onto the steering wheel because his hands felt weak. When he would walk around, he would feel like his legs were shaking. Every time he tried to stand up, it would get harder and harder, and when he was finally up, he'd feel dizzy.
Mind you, all this shit happened because he was eating an unhygienic box.
For several sleepless nights, Ian couldn't take it anymore as he brings himself to the hospital where we are now.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone.
Oh, wow.
But getting in the zone.
At examination, Ian looked okay. When doctors looked at his mouth, they thought it appeared a little dry. His skin was giving some indications that he was dehydrated, and when they took a blood test, it did in fact confirm that Ian was dehydrated.
See, and the fact is, someone would probably be wondering, like, yo, Trey, why the hell are you watching this? Why do you watch stuff like this? I watch stuff like this, bro, because, like, I'm a nerd. I like to learn things. I like to learn new things. And Chubby Emu be telling us all about the body and stuff. Like, talking about, like, hydroglycemia and hyperemia, low blood, and the B cell, the A cell, and this, that, and the third, bro. And I just love learning about that. That's what makes these videos so interesting. It's not even necessarily the people getting sick, but it's like he really looks into what got them sick.
But not only that, they found out that he has hypokalemia. Hypo meaning low. Kali referring to potassium, or more formally kalium, is shown by its symbol on the periodic table of elements, and emia meaning presence in blood. Low potassium presence in blood. Ian told the medical team,
like, most of y'all probably didn't even know what the hell that was, but you just learned something new. Like, that's mad interesting, isn't it?
About his nonstop diarrhea lasting several weeks by this point. He told them that he didn't know why it was happening because he hadn't traveled anywhere recently, and he hadn't eaten anything out of the ordinary. When the body has diarrhea, nutrients that should have been reabsorbed are wasted. That's why it's watery instead of the solid fecal matter that's supposed to be formed. A persistent, chronic diarrhea will incur a great amount of loss because every day the amount of potassium out of the body outpaces the amount of potassium in. But why was Ian having this diarrhea? In the hospital, the medical team waited for Ian's next movement. They collected a sample, and when they were able to look at it,
like, just look at that shit, bro. That nigga, he swallowed that through his mouth. Like, look at this. It looked like a jellyfish, bro. Like, it looks like an alien parasite, bro. And he swallowed that in his mouth. That is so disgusting, bro. Like, that shit is slack.
Found Giardia duodenalis.
Like, I didn't even know this shit was a thing. Like, I knew diarrhea, but like, I didn't know that like there was a parasite that make you poop. Like, I knew like if you get sick, you might get diarrhea from a certain sickness or like disease or infection, but I didn't know like parasites made you poop. Like, I know about like tapeworms and stuff, and they eat everything inside your stomach or your intestines or whatever, but those don't even make you poop. Like, imagine a parasite that makes you shit 24/7. Like, that is bad, bro.
A protozoan parasite that causes persistent infectious diarrhea. This isn't very common in the United States, so where did this come from? Infectious Giardia cysts come from contaminated food or water. In the United States,
look at that shit. He swallowed that. He swallowed that, bro. That is nasty, bro.
If someone has this from either of these routes, it's likely because they had traveled to another country. Doctors know that Ian hadn't been traveling, but when they asked if anyone in his household had been, suddenly everything made sense to him. Ian called Cupcake. She still had been sick all these weeks that Ian
The
was
fact they
sick.
really
This
named her
didn't seem like a
Cupcake.
coincidence to them anymore. He told doctors about the trip that she had had and about her sickness during that trip that persisted all the way until today. It didn't seem like she could eat anything, and after a few days, it appeared that whatever it was, she had spread it to him. And when Cupcake came into the
Wow.
hospital, her stool sample was positive for Giardia. This made sense to her. Giardia cysts can live in the environment in places where it's endemic. These cysts contaminate food and water.
Like, that shit is so disgusting, bro. I cannot lie. And I just can't imagine being her. That must have been so embarrassing for the actual person. Mind you, this is a story based off of real events. These are not made up stories. This is some real shit.
Or hands and surfaces, and when they get into the small intestines of humans, they release trophozoites, which are the active feeding stage that can multiply, and it's here where they cause problems. They disrupt normal nutrient absorption that would happen, and they cause bloating and cramping and all the abdominal problems that Ian and his wife experienced. As the parasites get to the colon, they become cysts, which get passed into the stool, and the cycle continues as they go and infect other humans. Ian's hypokalemia was due to gastrointestinal losses, and it was causing his muscle weakness. Electrolytes are used to send signals. The electro part of their name signifies that their electrical charge tells cells to do certain things.
See, this is why I love his videos, bro. Like, am I ever gonna need to remember any of these things? No, but I just like to learn about it because it makes me feel smart.
The most abundant positively charged electrolyte outside of cells is sodium, and the most abundant one inside cells is potassium. When a muscle contracts, it receives the signal from a nerve, and this causes sodium to rush into the cell to signal the start of the contraction. Because there's a huge influx of positive charge, the cell balances this by pumping potassium out. Calcium commits to the contraction, and when the contraction is done, potassium rushes back into the cell to signal for relaxation. If potassium isn't around to signal this relax because Ian has hypokalemia, then his muscles will cramp. They can become weak because the correct signal to even start the contraction is disrupted. When the medical team did a test on the electrical activity of his nerves and muscles, they find that it was difficult to excite the muscles enough to contract and that there was less connection of nerve.
Mind you, this all started because he was eating a hygienic box.
To muscle, because parts of his muscle have died.
So here I wanted to show you guys a search of phone cases, and Pi is showing me that I just got rewarded for seeing.
Ian's blood.
That jump crazy, bro. My son just wanted to give his wife a good time, and ended up his muscles started dying, bro. Like, that is so tragic.
Blood test had noted that he had other nutrient deficiencies. He had low levels of magnesium, which worsens hypokalemia, and low levels of zinc, copper, vitamin B12, and vitamin A. Although because he was an adult and nutrients can have significant stores in the body for some time, he wasn't symptomatic of these deficiencies. But this is why Giardia is a public health problem in places where it's endemic. Not everyone who gets Giardia is an adult. Children who get infected are famously known to have stunted growth and delayed development because the parasite sits in their small bowel and prevents them from absorbing the nutrients that they need from food. This has lifelong impact on the person and never really goes away, even when the parasite is eventually eliminated from their body. Other accounts have demonstrated that Giardia cysts,
Like, that's actually sad as a bitch, I'm not gonna lie,
can enter into the pancreas, and they've been found inside pancreatic tumors. It's highly unlikely that they cause the tumor, but rather we know that they can migrate within the GI tract, with the pancreas being one possible destination because it's happened without a tumor present. Cupcake, having gotten cysts from her trip, had gotten them into places where Ian had oral to fecal contact, and the Giardia spread to him. The nutrient malabsorption due to the excessive, chronic, infectious diarrhea is the most important consequence of this kind of infection. But the treatment is relatively simple. 1 dose of tinidazole, an antiprotozoal medicine that should eliminate all Giardia parasite. Doctors told both of them that by day 7, their diarrhea and all other related symptoms should go away. Ian was given all the nutrients and vitamins that he was deficient in for some time in the hospital. When he was discharged, he was noted to have some improvement in muscle strength, and at follow-up months later, Ian and Cupcake were noted to have returned to normal health as they were able to make a full recovery. One way to prevent
I clap it up as soon as he say full recovery, you know. And that's like the best part of his videos. Like something majorly bad happens. We found out why they having, and then at the end you get a happy ending, bro. But some of his videos they're not always like having a happy ending. But yeah. So we learned some things about the body, of course. We learned about parasites, and we learned not to do sexual things unhygienically. Make sure y'all are washing and cleaning your private parts before you do any adult things. You feel me? Uh, yeah, and also just be aware of where you're eating your food at. Do you trust it? Do it look safe? Do it smell good? You know, etc., etc., etc. Like it's risky out here. You feel me? But without further ado, thank you for watching all the way to the end because this is the end of the video. So stay tuned for more videos like this dropping soon. And if you like the content, if you like the video, just subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment down below. And yeah, I want y'all to just think about this. Like, what would you do if this happened to you? You could leave it down in the comments below, or you could just answer internally, or talk to someone about it. It don't really matter. But yeah. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. It's your boy Halloween 2 times, and I'm out of here. Peace.